Welcome to the What the Nuck podcast, the podcast for Canucks fans. I'm your host, Roddy, alongside my good friend and co-host, Brabby. Well, Brabby, we just came back from Vancouver, got to see Shane Gillis, had a couple of laughs together. In the meantime, Canucks did some pretty crazy things while we were over there. They're currently 24, 18, and 11 with the record. They're tied with Calgary for the last wildcard spot. Both teams are 1 point behind the Kings, but the Kings have 3 games in hand on both teams. And man, with the way all the drama has been, and it's kind of coming to an end here now, it seems like, you would think this team is in last place sometimes in the Western Conference, the way everything's been going.
Yeah.
We're a lot closer to that third spot than I think a lot of teams, a lot of people would think.
Yeah.
So the season's definitely not lost. Definitely a new look on the team, so we'll see how they move forward here in the next little bit. But how do you like this week with the trades that happened and just how the team's kind of responded since the trades have happened?
Yeah. It's just it feels like there's like a breath of fresh air like for the last 2 games, especially the Dallas game. There was still the fog of the JT Miller trade, and reading JT Miller has left the arena before the game started. That was pretty tough. But I don't know, the Detroit game and yesterday's Colorado game. I'm not turning the game on and just expecting the absolute worst every time anymore. And it's not even on JT Miller, but it's just the whole aura of the team and everything that was being said about them, and just honestly the on ice product as well is just, it didn't live up to what this season was supposed to be. But yeah, sucks to see JT go. Breath of fresh air, and you can kind of see it through, you can feel it through the TV and the way the guys are playing too. A change-up was needed, and it sucks that it happened, but I think it's good for both sides. And honestly, the Canucks looked great last night. So,
amazing against Colorado. That was probably the most entertaining game I think I've seen this year, outside of a couple. The opening night was good too against Calgary, even though we lost, but.
That's where our whole season got derailed, by the way. I stand by it. If we never choked that 3-0 lead, we would have been fine.
Yeah. I believe you too. There's some weight on that for sure. I agree. Let's get right into these trades here though first. So yeah, before we go to watch the Dallas game at the Shark Club here, all the boys are chilling, and we get an Elliot Friedman bomb on our Twitter, and it basically says JT Miller scratched. Trade talks between the Vancouver Canucks and the New York Rangers are heating up. And you just knew. That's it. When Elliot says something, it's happening. If Elliot says I'm getting my second divorce, it's happening,
Even if you don't want to.
Even if you don't want to.
Yeah. It's got to happen at that point.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So Vancouver trades JT Miller to the Rangers. Vancouver receives forward Philip Hedl, defenseman Victor Mancini, and a 2025 first-round pick, top 13 protected. They did not retain anything on Miller's contract. The Rangers receive, obviously, forward JT Miller. Eric Brandstrom, the franchise. The era is over. I don't have to argue with Gunvir if he should be in the lineup anymore. And defenseman Jackson Dorrington. And I would like to say once more about this player. Who?
I think he's pretty decent, nothing crazy, but I don't know much about him. Honestly.
Yeah.
I've heard the name. I didn't even know he was a defenseman.
I'm not going to lie. He's just left my brain. So when I saw that guy, I was like, I didn't even know we had him. So anyways, that's the trade. And then Vancouver Canucks were not done there. We'll decipher that trade in a second here. But Vancouver then trades with Pittsburgh later on in the evening, acquiring defenseman Marcus Pettersson and forward Drew O'Connor. Pittsburgh receives forward Danton Heinen. Nice to see ya. Defenseman Vinny Desharnais. Thank God. Thank you for your services.
Thank you for whatever he did here, because he didn't service nothing.
Yeah. He hates the puck on his stick. Let's just put it that way. Melvin Fernstrom. Again.
Felmstrom, I think it is.
Sure.
Fernstrom? What? Yeah.
I think it's Fernstrom.
He's
and then
a decent prospect, I do have to say.
Oh, okay. Well,
he's not.
I know nothing about him. And then a first-round pick that we just got from New York goes to Pittsburgh. So Vancouver kind of looked at, if you look at both trades as a whole, it makes the first trade look a little bit better. But yeah, Prabby, your thoughts on JT Miller, the 5 years he served here, your initial reaction to this trade as a whole when this went down.
Well, while Gunny and I were on the plane down to Vancouver, our flight got delayed, so we didn't land till like I think it was like 3 o'clock. But when we were on the plane, we're like, man, we're gonna turn off airplane mode, and our phones are just gonna go crazy because Patrick Alvin did something silly, and that didn't end up being the case. But once we actually got to the Airbnb and we were all hanging out, and it just sucked that like Evan was the one who told us. Like,
Yeah.
I was so dumb, but his man, I think he was a Ring of Honor candidate if he ended up like playing the rest of his contract here. It sucks to see him go just because like we've seen it when he's on his game. He's like a top 10 player in the league. Like there's nobody that does it like him. I was really disappointed with the trade, but
Yeah.
the thing is, right? Like you kind of expected it too because just because of all the noise and everything that's going on, like you weren't going to get full value back for Miller, and it's the contract obviously doesn't look the best, but with the cap going up, it's going to be fine. I think they got the best for what they were probably being offered. Apparently, Victor Mancini was a player that New York just didn't want to part with initially. That was one of the snags.
They don't want to
earlier
part
on.
with anybody, man. They say no to Braden Schneider. They say no to like anything. It's
Yeah.
insane.
So apparently, yeah, they didn't want to part with him, but like eventually it worked out. You got to give to get. I think at the end of the day, Vancouver loses the trade, but I think both teams are better than they were before the trade happened. So that's one of those rare instances. Like it was just such a locker room presence, and like the fact that literally like if for a certain point in time, Toronto wasn't the biggest story in all of Canada, and the way the Maple Leafs are playing, right? It's what's going on in Vancouver. Why do these guys hate each other? Holy PD soft. Miller's
Yeah.
a bully, right? So it's a trade that had to happen. I was underwhelmed with the return, but as of right now, after a couple games, I do like Filipino. I think if he can stay healthy, that guy can be a player for us. But yeah, it sucks to see Miller go, and honestly, I just bought his jersey. Like, unless he
You
does
bought
something,
two.
I bought two Miller jerseys. Unless he does something stupid, like this guy's gonna go down as one of my favorite Canucks of all time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I just kind of want to talk about like the 5 years here. He gets here. People were freaking out about the trade. You know, there's a couple of dicey moments too, and like he's just a polarizing figure for Vancouver. He was always in like just a content machine, I believe Wyatt Arndt said, and I believe that wholeheartedly. Like, you know, there's bad moments with the Crystalia yelling at him to go to the bench, but then you have moments of him putting McDavid in his place, and then, you know, scoring the goal to put the Oilers to the brink last year in the second round.
Yeah,
He was just an absolute player. He joins Pavel Bure as the only player in franchise history to be a point per game player over his entire tenure with the Canucks.
yeah,
Like, you don't just do that. And a player like JT Miller, when he's on, they don't grow on trees. And that's where it's really tough to like the trade from like my initial reaction, because I know what this guy could be. And this trade had to happen because I don't know if we were ever going to get that JT Miller that we all know and love ever again. He was
Yeah.
just checked out at this stage, and I totally understand. Like, you know, it just came to a head, and someone had to go, and he was a guy that had to go. Like, prime example, I might have said it in the last podcast there, but the game against the St. Louis Blues, Quinn Hughes gives a beautiful stretch pass to JT Miller on a breakaway, and JT absolutely snipes it. Beautiful goal against Binnington, and there's just no emotion. Like the soul is just like left, and you know, there's no celebration. Not that you have to, but like that's a pretty big goal. Like, it's hard to not get fired up there.
Yeah.
And to make that comparison, you see Hedel tied up against Detroit, and there's that passion again, and you
Yeah.
see, you know what I mean? Like, the JT just didn't have that here anymore, and it's sad, but you know, this is a business, and we're a fan of the Vancouver Canucks. You could still be a fan of the player, but
Yeah.
we're a fan of this team, so you gotta go with what they do, and I think it's going to be good for both teams now.
Yeah.
Like, I think the Rangers need a bit of a kick in the pants, and they need a quote-unquote bully, I guess, to be in that locker room to get
Yeah.
going. But
Yeah.
they'll be a force to reckon with. I hope they make playoffs, and I hope he does well there.
Yeah.
Wish him nothing but the best. But, yeah, off of my initial reaction, I was pretty disappointed in the return.
I agree. Like I'm really happy for like Miller just because like him and Trocheck have been best friends since they were kids.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think like the fact that he gets to go to New York and he gets to play with his best friend, like I think that's gonna revitalize him to an extent. He might not be 100-point player. I know he's on kind of a heater right now since he's got traded. He might not be 100-point player for the Rangers next year, but I think like that's the type of guy that like I feel like the Rangers have been lacking for quite some time because the
Oh
only
yeah.
only sort of actually they don't even have a player like that. Kreider's just big and physical and he can put the puck in the net, but like this year he's struggling. You have a guy like JT Miller who's going to go out there, he's going to take the hard matchups, or honestly even if you give him the soft matchups, he's going to dominate. I think this is just what the Rangers needed, and I think this fresh start for the Canucks, this is officially Elias Pettersson's team. Like I think that's
Which one?
yeah, we'll get into that, but
Yeah.
I think it's what the Canucks needed. So yeah, no, I agree. I think this trade's going to work out for the Rangers, and it actually just feels it's like I know we're just fans, but like it happened, and I felt like there was like just weight lifted off my shoulders when the like after the following day, right when the trade like initially happened, I was upset.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe he wasn't a Canuck no more, and like the next day, I was like, you know what, like feels kind of nice. Like we don't have to talk about it anymore.
That's the thing. Is seeing it in the like I think where I was getting like upset too is the Canucks being on and again, it's nothing to write home about, but they were on a 3-game win streak, right? The team hasn't done that since the beginning of November, which is insane.
Yeah.
So for them to be on that, and I'm like, oh, I think it could die down a bit, this noise, and it was still there, and like all the talk shows or like the podcasts and stuff are still talking about, oh yeah, like maybe we can get this for him. I'm like, can we shut up about this for a second?
Yeah.
You knew it like obviously there's too much smoke for it to be untrue, and just the body language on the team, you could just tell. Even the 4-point night he had in Montreal too, he just wasn't here. He wasn't present anymore.
No.
And that's unfortunate. But yeah, like you said, like new blood's in here now, and people
A lot of new blood.
a lot, yeah. And these guys look happy to be here so far from what we've seen, and yeah, I like I said, I wish nothing but the best for JT Miller. He's gonna have a hell of a fun time playing with Panarin and I think it's Zibanejad right now.
Mm-hmm.
And right now too for like let's get into Filip Chytil a little bit here because he's only averaged like his average ice time for when he was on the Rangers was 14 minutes. So he hasn't been elevated like he has in the last 2 games with Vancouver ever in his career.
Yeah,
Tocchet gave him.
Oh, I think you were about to say it. Yeah,
I was just gonna say Tocchet gave him 20 minutes the first night, and I don't know what he finished up with.
I think he played like 23 last night.
Yeah, and man,
I'll double check on that. But
yeah, take a look. But yeah, he was just absolutely dynamic. And in his first 2 games with the Canucks, he has a goal against Detroit, an assist against the Avs there. So he's point per game currently right now as well. And yeah, he looks so dynamic out there, man. Like he's 6'2", he's bigger than I thought, and like he's very agile. And just every time he's out there, you just notice him. He's been a pleasure to watch.
he played 20:45 last night, so I was confusing him with Marcus Pettersson. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't know like what your thoughts are on him so far, but I think there's a lot more potential, like you said, if he's able to stay healthy because he had the concussion problems here. Yeah, I think he's going to be a great fit for this team.
I think I read somewhere that he was second on the Rangers for like points per 60 or something last year.
Yeah,
Under like Panarin. Or like points per ice time or whatever the heck it was. I think it's like I think so far in these 2 games, as long as Tocchet doesn't kill the offense and the creativity this guy has, I like the fact that he provides a speed to this team that has been missing for quite some time. Him and Drew O'Connor both. Obviously, Drew O'Connor, different story. He's not really a skilled guy. He's more of a bottom 6 player, a little bit more physical and fast and stuff. But yeah, I think Hedl, I don't know. It's such a weird situation for Hedl. Like you're coming in as like the main piece for like a fan favorite, right? So like there's pressure right before like you even step into the rink. Like
for sure.
People are going to be judging you. People are going to be judging like Pettersson for just because one player's gone. I think what Hedl's done in these first 2 games is pretty special, and I think Canucks fans should be pretty excited about it. I've seen a lot of people saying Filip Chytil can be a really good 2C, which perfectly okay with that, right? We don't need him to be like a
That's what we need.
1A, right? So,
Yeah.
but I think ideally down the line, like if Vancouver still continues to do well and they're serious about making playoffs, I think they need to acquire a legitimate 2C
Yeah.
and then have Hedel as a 3C spot, or you can trust it and just get a really good 3C and then sort of do a rotation type of thing with Hedel and what's his name? With Hedel and whoever they end up acquiring.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's the thing. Like, if you have more centers than you should in this league, it's a good problem to have. Because let's say you have, like you're saying, you acquire another center, and then you have Hedel, this other center, Bluger and Suter that are also centers.
Yeah.
You have one of those guys on a wing. If one gets bumped out of the faceoff dot, then you have another centerman to take that draw. So that's just bang for your buck right there. But yeah, no. So Hedel's best year was in 2022-23. I played obviously with the Rangers, 74 games played, 22 goals, 45 points. That was when he played with Lafreniere and Kako as a kid line. And again, like Rangers fans are actually like they're happy about Miller, but I didn't expect as many Rangers fans to react as like, oh my God, I can't believe like they got Hedel and Mancini. Like I was like, I thought we got fleeced. Right. But yeah, no, I so far pleasantly surprised with the way the kid plays. Like Tocchet said, I hope the way him and O'Connor play kind of rubs off on the rest of the Vancouver Canucks because still a little bit slow in that regard. Yeah, we can quickly talk about, you kind of mentioned Drew O'Connor there. He definitely is just a bottom six guy, but I like his speed. He is 2 years removed from 16-goal season, 33 points. Wow. So not too bad for a depth guy. Like, that's all you could ask for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously the bigger fish, I guess, coming in now. Like, our forward group is obviously hurting at this stage, but the defense has gotten quite a upgrade, if you will, over the last couple of days. Yeah, let's talk about Marcus Pettersson here. Mike Rupp, like the former Penguin player. Yeah,
I saw that.
Yeah, I saw a thing on Twitter where he was saying that he thinks Marcus Pettersson is one of the top 5 defensive defensemen in the league, and it's like, man, that's pretty high praise.
Compared him to he's a Jacob Slavin type. That's what he said.
I'll take that.
Did you hear what Frank Saravelli said?
What'd he say?
He said Marcus Pettersson's a number 5 defenseman.
What?
Yeah. So.
Dude, get that guy off the air. I love daily face-off. Like, it helps me for my fantasy and stuff. Like, thank you, Frank. But also, respectfully, your takes are garbage, bro.
It's just not it. Frank Saravelli's a goof, man. Oh, my gosh.
Number 5.
I think it was Saravelli.
I thought you were joking, man. That's insane.
I'm pretty sure it was Saravelli, but, geez. What a take. What a take. Everybody's comparing him to, not everybody, but I've seen some comparisons of when the Oilers acquired Ekholm type of situation, right? Like that's kind of the piece that they need. But if like Vancouver's top 3 defensemen now are Hughes, Hronek, and Pettersson. Dude, Pettersson played 23 minutes last night.
I know.
The guy's a minute muncher. He's a munch.
Minute muncher.
He is, bro.
I love that. Yeah, no, I'm pleasantly surprised. He's so calm and collected with the puck, And one thing I've noticed over the last couple of games, there's not a lot of icings going on right now.
Yeah.
Vinny, we thank you for your service, bud. Also, not having Juleson I guess in there helps.
Yeah. Thank God, dude. Tocchet came to his senses right before the game started.
I know.
Oh my God.
He looked at what the Nucks tweet there, and a couple other people tweeted about it as well, and then he finally was like, "Yep,
Susie, you're in." When they were like when the D pairs came out, and Susie was like on the 4th pair.
I know with Mancini.
Yeah, and Juleson was there. I was like, what is going on? Like, I was like, Susie on his off side is way better than Juleson on his good side.
Juleson's got dirt on the league, bro. He has to. There's just no way.
Somebody said Tocchet and Juleson are running like a gambling ring or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I have a tough time with what you're saying, like seeing as to how Juleson could still stay in. Obviously, he didn't. And, hopefully Tocchet sticks to his guns and keeps the winning lineup because he usually likes to do that. And yeah, like, screw the right-handed, left-handed thing. I understand why he likes that, but man, play your best players. Your best players are the way you're going to win this game.
The players are too good nowadays to not be able to figure it out.
100%.
right? Like it's one of those things that you just gotta. If you can't figure it out, obviously playing lefty your whole life, then going to right D, kind of a change up. I get it, but it's at the end of the day, you're still doing the same thing. You're playing fucking defense.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, one thing I wanted to ask you, I guess, about this Pittsburgh trade as a whole here, were you kind of like upset that we just like offloaded the first right away again? I kind of figured we were going to like get rid of that first. I didn't think, because also people are saying that the draft this year isn't as strong. Yeah, it's quite
Yeah.
weak. So
Um, I wouldn't say I was upset by that because, like, notoriously, I feel like this is the second time it's happened. When it happened the first time, we should have known it was going to happen again. This team doesn't want to rebuild.
yeah,
Retool, 100%. That's what they're doing. I think the only thing that kind of made me upset because I love Marcus Pedersen. I really do. I remember because we were sitting at the Shane Gillis show, and then that came out, and I think I turned to you boys and I was like, dude, the Canucks just got Marcus Pedersen, right?
yeah,
Like the only thing that makes me upset, and like this is one of those things that can be fixed pretty easily, is he's not coming with a contract extension. They're obviously working towards that. That's the only problem I have with it. But yeah, they're working towards that. And honestly, like the fact that he's still a rental, I think what they wanted to do is get this deal done now, especially just before trade deadline, to see how he fits. And honestly, like if the team bottoms out, you have another asset that
yeah.
like trade, right? So yeah,
No, and I like, yeah, to what you're saying there, I really think they're going to try to get this extension done within
yeah.
the week. It sounds like they're, not that they're close, but both sides are working on it like quite frequently here. So
I think it was Satir Shah said his extension should come in around 5.2 to 5.8.
perfect.
Right. And I was like 100%. Somebody's like, oh my God, he's going to make 6 plus. And then Sat gave some like comparables and stuff like that. And like, it's those, you ever seen those like APF
Yep.
projection things, right?
Yep.
That's where he's like rated,
Hmm.
which I think is an absolute no brainer. Like, you do
Yeah.
that 100%.
Oh, 100%.
If he was right handed, dude, we'd be paying like 7.5.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Right-handed defenseman, man, absolute unicorns. So yeah, with all these deals, we don't retain any money on any of these players. Canucks got, like you're saying, younger. They got faster. You know, we have better transitions with the defensemen that we've been deploying now. Do you like the vision overall with where this group is going?
Yeah, I think they're still lacking. Man, that's a problem with when you trade a guy like Pedersen, or not a guy like
JT Miller.
Pedersen, trade a guy like JT Miller. Like
Yeah.
they're really lacking an impact forward.
Yes.
They didn't get an impact defenseman back because if we're being completely honest, there's probably like 4 or 5 impact defensemen in the whole NHL.
Yeah.
But they got a guy in Marcus Pedersen who's just he's going to become a fan favorite. He gets hit a lot, but like his defensive positioning and the way he can actually move the puck, I think it's going to be such a breath of fresh air. I think I understand where like Rutherford and Alvin are coming from with everything that they've done, but I do think that like you were saying earlier, they're not done and they shouldn't be done looking at that forward core. Like if they really want to be cup contenders, they're going to have to add another forward and potentially another depth defenseman just for injury's sake.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see the vision. I see what they're trying to do.
Hmm.
Um, I just wonder who's out there that
Well,
can
and
help them complete the division or
we got more
division.
cap space out of it too, which was huge.
That's yeah.
Yes, we do need another play driver. Uh, I feel like we talk about him every pod. Quickly, like forward, Elias Pettersson has to be like I'm just so convinced it is like he has to be dealing with an injury, or it has to be the tendonitis flare up, or just something,
Yeah.
because he's just nowhere near where he was. And you know the way. I'm not trying to make this comparison because obviously when Pettersson's on, he's way better. But how shifty and dynamic Heedle's been looking out there
Hmm.
is how Pettersson used to look every shift in a way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know that player's still there, but he's just right now he's not. And if Pettersson isn't, we do need that other impact player. It can't
Yeah.
just be Heedle like being our only one guy up front that can get things done right.
Yeah. Heedle or Garland, but
Yeah.
uh man, I think I saw something where Pedersen and Besser have like the same skating speed this year, which is nuts.
Oh
Like,
God,
yeah,
couple
that's
slow pokes.
yeah. And then DeBrusque isn't like the fastest skater either.
No,
He should be. It's like he can skate fast. He just chooses not to, which
it's the
pisses.
eye test. DeBrusque looks like he goes fast, but he really doesn't.
Oh, it fucking grinds my gears, man. But yeah, they need another impact forward. You just don't know who's out there, like who's going to be available. And I
Hmm.
think if like off the top of my head, like obviously last year nobody knew Thomas Hurdle was available, right?
Yep.
Like that's a trade that came out of nowhere. We haven't really heard much about potential players that are going to be available at the deadline. Like last year it was Lindholm. We all expected was going to be available.
Same week, by the way, trading JT Miller, we got Lindholm last year.
Yeah, times.
How I know, just insane.
I saw when we were watching the Rangers game, it was like Zadorov, Lindholm, and Miller, and it's
Yeah.
like 1 year ago today, they were all Canucks. And I was, shut
Yeah,
up, leave me alone.
a couple tears going down. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I see the vision. I just don't know who they can get to complete the vision.
Yeah.
I think if they don't make playoffs this year, it's a catastrophic failure.
Yeah, dude.
Like
We're fighting with Calgary right now, which, Calgary just bulked up with, did they get Farabee and Frost? That's who they got,
Yeah.
right? Offloaded Kuzmenko and Pelletier?
Peltier, yeah,
Yeah, thank you. Don
That's-
Cherry over here.
that's a very slim bulk up, though. I'm not gonna lie.
It is, but it definitely, like, it's a Calgary bulk up. Those are Calgary players, depth players, it's just going to make it tougher to get into that wild card spot. That being said, like we said, Kings are kind of faltering a little bit. The season's not over. It's going to be a
right.
long stretch here to see where we can go. Calgary lost last night, obviously, for us to tie up with them, so we'll see. But yeah, it would be in my opinion, quite a failure if we can't go back to back in the playoffs here.
No, is there anybody who you think could be available that
Well,
you would want them?
the one guy I keep seeing, I just don't know if he's necessarily an impact player. I don't know if his minutes get elevated there because of Barzell and Horvat. But Brock Nelson is one guy. Cause also, dude, it's mainly our decor that we just love the height.
Mhm.
But Brock Nelson's 6'5", and like I wonder what he would look like in a different setting and stuff. So maybe he could be there. But again, I just don't know.
If
The
we
thing
can
that
get
sucks
front
is
on the power play.
yeah,
That'd be nice.
I just want, and we're just not going to get it because we just traded it away. Like Miller's such a player like that does not grow on trees, right?
Yeah.
Like I like that you can hard match him with. Like I remember the Pittsburgh game like a year or two ago, where he's getting into it with Crosby and Malk, and and like obviously he's done that to McDavid a couple of times. Like McKinnon, yeah, he could do that. And I'm not saying Pettersson can't. They're just not the same player that way.
Mhm.
Miller can really engage and frustrate those guys. And I can't see another person that's available on like for free agents or just for trade right now that can give us that.
I think there's two players. Maybe I don't know if there's three players in the league like that who have that skill level.
Brady
Two of them,
Tkachuk?
well, two of them are Kachuk and one's JT Miller.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
And those other two are never going to be available. And I think honestly, like I agree, the ideal person that we would want like coming in for this forward core is probably a less hot-headed JT Miller.
yeah. A positive reinforcement, JT Miller. Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't see the only name that comes to mind, and I haven't seen anything about Vancouver being interested in him is Dylan Cousins. He's not really an impact forward, but that's another way that you can get an upgrade somewhat on the forward side. But
yeah.
I haven't heard many names out there, man. Like I
No.
really haven't. Like you usually at this time of the year, you kind of get a sense of who's available and who's not. I don't know what's going on. But
Yeah.
I can't even think of like any really good like players on some bottoming team that could potentially be shipped out. Like your Brock Nelson one makes sense, but we all know the Islanders would never do that because they just want to be mid for the rest of their fucking franchise's existence. So,
Yeah. Barzell just got out indefinitely too, so I'm sure he'll get some more minutes now.
would you give up first for Horvat?
Well, because of how weak the draft is, yeah, bring him back. I don't care. I don't know, man. We just need guys that can kind of play. Like I'll bring this. Sorry, again, not to beat a dead horse here, but in that Detroit game, right? Philip Hedl ties the game, huge goal, and I wanted to, kind of talk about this. I already did, but like Hedl scores, huge celly. The boys are Boys are going over to congratulate him for his first goal as a Canuck, and the passion's back in there. Like, you see that the players want to play. Also, Canucks have not been without Hughes since Dallas, so they've missed him for 2 games. That obviously would have helped in the Detroit game, but Detroit at the end of the day is on a back-to-back.
Yeah,
that game is just begging, absolutely begging for a hero to come out of the depths of the water, right? And that's the perfect time for Elias Pettersson to just grab the bull by the horns and just do it. And I'll be honest too, Besser could have helped that one too. He had like probably 80 chances and missed 90 shots. Like, they got to hit the net.
Yeah,
they got to hit the net. So in a way, like, I got to critique Besser there too, and DeBrusk. Those are your top players, and they're not getting the job done when they need to get the job done. But Pettersson, obviously, because of the cap hit, you put a little bit more pressure on him. So yeah, like, we need another impact forward, like you're saying.
I think it's time we shift gears, because I got some things to say about Brock Besser.
Yeah.
Brought him up.
Yeah. Let's talk about Besser here. So he's obviously UFA here at the end of the year. I personally think he's having a bit of a down year, and I really do believe that Jeannot hit kind of derailed the season that he was having, because at the start of the year he was clicking. I think he's at 17 goals now, though. It looks like, there's still a chance for him to hit close to 30. If he really gets going, he can get 30, but that might be a little tough here.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, what do you think? Do we re-sign him? I don't think he's worth 8x8 at the rate he's playing.
I think the max I'd be willing to go is honestly like 7. Maybe like 7.2. But
my max was 7.5, but not 8.
Yeah, eight's crazy, especially for a guy who's hit 40 goals once. He looks, at certain points, he just looks kind of lost out there. Like, I don't know what's going on. He looked a lot better yesterday. I just think he just doesn't possess any like really high end skill. Like, I don't know. That's such a terrible thing to say about him, but like, he's just a solid all around player who doesn't really excel at anything.
I'm gonna disagree. So here's my take on Besser. I think the players he's been playing with, like we kind of joked about it at the start of the pod here, he's playing with Pettersson and DeBrusk, and that's just 3 slow guys. He needs yesterday, for example, against Colorado, he switches Tocchet switched Hedl for Besser, right? So it was Hedl, Besser, and I can't remember who the third forward was there. But anyways,
Drew O'Connor.
It was Drew O'Connor.
I think so.
Wow. Okay. So 2 speedsters and Besser, and it was giving Besser a little bit more looks, and he knows where to go. He could dump the puck in, and he can kind of like get in there, and he's really good on the boards.
Mm-hmm.
But
actually, I will take what I said back. That's where he's good.
Yeah, he doesn't possess like he can't create his own space with the puck, I'd say, but he knows how to get open to get that pass, and having guys on there that are like speedsters that can go in and get the puck for him is where he's going to shine. Yeah. I just think where he was deployed earlier with the way Miller was disengaged this year and just being slow, and Pettersson losing all of his speed this year, it just hasn't helped him. It makes him look like a worse player. But I do agree, he does have to start producing a bit more. Same as DeBrusk. He's just they're both not hitting the net where they should be.
My biggest beef with him is like he's just fumbling the puck a lot. Like, I've been seeing it for like 3 weeks now. Like, when there was a play to Pettersson on the power play where Pettersson passed it to the goal line to Besser, and then Besser was supposed to give it back to Pettersson, and he just fumbled the puck, and he put a little like crappy pass forward, and then Colorado picked it off, and like literally the puck probably left like an inch away from his blade, right? Like, he gets the puck in the corners or something like that, he bobbles it, or he goes for a pass that just hits shins. Like, I think it's more of a frustration thing for me and Besser. Obviously, he scored last night. I'm hoping that can be the sort of turnaround he needs, but I don't know. It's just not a player that's worth $8 billion, and he actually, like, no. I don't think he's been playing good for the last, like, 2.5 weeks, so.
Yeah.
That's all. That's my piece with him.
Well, and the one thing I guess that is good in a way, if, like you're saying, the Canucks need to make this push to make the playoffs, is both him and DeBrusk are quite streaky. And in the last 2 games here, we've had DeBrusk get a goal against Dallas. Right, sorry, I guess he didn't score in Detroit there, but then he scores again against Colorado. Besser scored in Colorado, so maybe both guys are going to go on a bit of a heater here, which is obviously really going to help this team out.
Yeah, 100%, yeah. We're to the point that everything has to go perfectly for this team now. So
Oh, like last year?
yeah, like last year. I remember when Rutherford said that everything has to go perfect if we want to make playoffs.
Yeah.
And then guess what? Everything went fucking perfect, and they made playoffs.
Well, and two encouraging signs I'll say here. First off, like we talked about the defense, we got to give Vancouver a bit of their flowers here. Rutherford and Alvin kind of, although the forwards have taken a bit of a hit, we've quickly turned around the defense, and it looks a lot better.
Oh yeah.
Having three of Forbert, Desharnais, and Juleson in the lineup, like when those games were playing, man, I swear to God, we had like 50 icings in a game, and it's like it was just insane. It's just so frustrating to watch. The offense is absolutely dead when Hughes isn't on the ice. Hughes has to play like 4 minutes per shift just to make stuff happen for this team.
Yeah.
And now with Marcus Pettersson coming in, D. Petey's emergence,
Apparently his nickname is Junior.
I love that. That's great. Yeah. That's how it should be. He's the rookie, Also, Rona coming back too and playing a little. Like also, yeah.
Also, hold on, sorry.
Yeah.
Just about DPD. Also, apparently, when they were trying to figure out like what the nicknames were going to be for all three of them, they gave DPD the nickname Big D. And he
I heard that. Yeah. He didn't like it. He's like, that's not true to me, who I am as a person.
He's like, so I'm a fraud. That's what he's saying.
Yeah. No, Junior fits. And also, Drew O'Connor said apparently he called Marcus Pettersson Dragon.
Stuff.
I know. Not.
Dragon.
Anyways.
Yeah.
But
Besser called him MP in his post game yesterday.
MP3.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Yeah, give him number 3, man. Don't go 29. But anyways, yeah, no, that's like one huge positive here. Elias Pettersson, the defenseman, has had 2 amazing games. The one in Detroit, man, I was saying, like, just with the bomb he had, he was looking like Salo out there. Every shot was getting through, but he has a heavy shot.
Yeah,
6'3", man, punishing player. Yeah, he is.
You know what it reminds me of? If we're gonna make playoffs,
yeah,
Nikita Zadorov.
Zadorov?
Yeah, just the physical presence on.
Wow.
The
Okay.
Yeah, the offense, I think still has something to like give, but man, seeing him yesterday was like giving me like Zadorov like last year.
Wow.
The way
okay.
he was going at the abs.
I think he has. Yeah. No, I think he has the aura for sure. But the one player that I thought of immediately, and it's such a huge jump. Like I don't even want to say this guy's name almost, but like he reminds me of a young Edler because when Edler first came in, no. Here again, the physical side. I think he has the aura of Zadorov. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. He's got that swagger, but he's punishing players, man. He tagged Logan O'Connor twice last night. Got Miles Wood. Like he had players going at him. And the one thing too about last night's game where you got to give credit where credit's due. Vancouver was playing like a team. They're standing up for each other. Yeah. Pettersson does that huge hit on, I think it was O'Connor again. He didn't like it. He starts cross-checking. A couple Avs players go at him. DeBrusk and Susie in there away.
No. So there was the hit on O'Connor, but that play was when Garland got tripped.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Yes.
He got tripped. And then Petey came in and started cross-checking.
Yeah, I like that, man. It shows that this team is standing up for one another, and I feel like we've just missed that a lot this year. Mm-hmm. Like that's I love to see that. And then even like later in the game too, Höglander, gets away from Miles Wood, gets held, penalty on Miles Wood, and then he goes to nut tap Linus Karlsson. Yeah. Höglander comes in right away, gives him a big cross check. I like that. And stand up for your players.
Höglander punches Ross Colton in the face. Colton punches Höglander. Myers grabs Colton by the head.
Yeah. God. That's what you want to see, man. You want to see your boys have each other's backs. Yeah. Like when they're playing in unison like that, you're gonna be winning more games.
Yeah,
like everybody has everyone's back. It's perfect. So yeah, the emergence of him. I think I read somewhere that the chances in the Detroit game, at least with Pettersson on the back end, it was like 14-3 or something like that. Like man, and even last night too. He only had the one shot, but like. He's just playing amazingly. He got his first assist in Detroit too, and I've loved his game.
The whole Canucks D-core over these last 2 games, the Dallas game, I'm still saying it's a write-off. I don't really care about that
first game without JT. That's a pretty tough game to get up for.
And not even the fact that it's first game without JT. He got traded like an hour before puck drop, right?
Yeah.
So like that game, obviously emotions are running high. The team's just checked out. They played good. I think it's the fact of the matter is the we've outshot we outshot Dallas and Detroit,
Yeah.
and we lost both games, right?
Yeah.
I think that for those two games you can put it on goaltending, but at the end of the day, like I said, the Dallas game, right off, that's an emotional game. It's an emotional day. The Detroit game, everybody's gelling together. It's looking good. Bro, if DPD ever gets taken out of the lineup again, I'm gonna be so upset.
Yeah,
Like
100%. You
just
can't.
you can't do that, especially with the way this guy's playing. Like,
So I was listening to I was watching the game last night, and Ferraro and Shorthouse were saying, he's only played just under 13 minutes per night, like against Colorado, and I was like, I swear to God, it felt like he was on for like 25 minutes, man. He was so noticeable in all the right ways. If he's only playing 13 minutes, that's insane. Yeah, no, this guy, he should never leave the lineup again. And I see how like Soucy's kind of lost favor a bit on that left side because it's gotten, with Marcus Pettersson coming in, DPD's emergence, and obviously when Quinn Hughes gets back, that makes it really tough for Soucy to get in on that side. But just like you said, you got to play Soucy on the offside. That's your best chance to win. I don't, unless he's playing absolutely horrendous. Yeah, put Juleson in for a game, but Juleson's not an everyday NHLer.
no.
That's talk it. Just listen to me for a second. You could play Juleson. You just can't play him for more than 2 games in a row.
And no more than I think the Detroit game. I think Juleson just was like the lowest playing defenseman. I think he played like 11 or 12 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it was nuts.
No. And also you mentioned goaltending there. Yeah, it's been a little bad, but holy smokes, we got a vintage Demko performance.
Yeah.
25 save. Shutty.
Shut out.
And yeah, we'll talk about Elias Pettersson here once more, but Demko makes that remarkable save, glove save, puck's right on the side. Makar is a tap, basically a tap in, right? And DPD extends the stick, flies down on the ice, or dives out on the ice, and takes it away from Makar. And then he makes another unreal save on that cross crease pass too, and then he finally gets the glove on one to cover the puck up. But my God, what a sequence by Demko. Just a great night from him altogether.
Yeah. Oh my God. That was
hearing the building cheer for Demko there, man. Like that's
ovation.
Goosies.
Dude, that's what they're gonna need. That's what they're gonna need.
Exactly.
Now I'm team up until playoffs, you do 1A, 1B. But I think after a shutout, you gotta go back to the guy.
I agree. You know what you do right now? Until you absolutely see a bunch of these performances by Demko, ride the hot hand. So we got the shutout. You play Demko till we get another loss. Switch to Lank. Play Lank till he gets a loss. Back and forth. Obviously, back-to-backs are you handle those differently.
Yeah.
But, yeah, ride that hot hand right now.
I think I'd play Lankinen on Saturday.
Against the Leafs?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Actually, no. Never mind. There's a big-ass break right afterwards, and Demko's not going anywhere. No. Ride him out for the next 3. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, unless he loses against the Sharks. But, no, 100%. You ride Demko.
The Sharks, I'm fucking throwing hands.
Well, speaking of that game, we already just got confirmed this morning from Brendan Batchelor. Quinn Hughes will not be traveling with the team, so he didn't even skate today, allegedly. So that's super unfortunate to hear. Hopefully he has a speedy recovery. The one thing, it's in a way with Quinn Hughes not being on the ice here for these, with these new players and stuff, like we've already seen a lot of positive uptick in the way they're playing and like how they're playing for each other. Mm-hmm. It's kind of been like, hey, like show like next man up. Like let's see what this team's made of without Quinn. And I really like the way they've responded. So when Quinn does happen to get back into the lineup, it's going to be a huge boost. And like we haven't even seen him with these new players yet. Like it's going to be awesome.
I think having Marcus Pettersson makes not having Hughes a little bit more palatable. Obviously, it's still
100%. Oh yeah. You still want your best player.
Yeah, but imagine Soucy as their fucking number one center, or number one lefty. Like that'd be tough, bro.
No, for sure. You're just asking way too much. Then Myers has to be, your offensive juggernaut in the back end.
Man, Myers is killing it this year.
Oh, he is.
Like,
That guy, man, the ageless wonder.
it just doesn't make any sense. I hated the contract when he signed it, and like, obviously, I feel like years 2 and 3 are going to be rough with that contract. But holy cow, he is eating it up this year.
Yeah, he's been asked to do more than he probably should, and he's come up to the he stepped up to the plate. Was it the Detroit game? I just want to talk about this one Myers play. Absolutely killed me. Was it the Detroit game where he fanned on a shot and the puck was in front of him? He probably could have got it, but he just went for the safe play and started bolting it back. Yeah. That is the funniest play I think I've ever seen an NHL defender do.
That was so funny.
Yeah. Like, he probably could have got it, but you know what? If he didn't get it, we'd be torching him for it. So,
yeah, 100%. Why don't you just get back there?
Yeah,
get back.
He was thinking about the Twitter there for sure. Yeah, man. Overall, like, I really like the play.
Yeah.
Obviously, I still miss Miller. I've actually been watching a few Rangers games here just to see how he's been, and yeah, he might be back. Yeah. You know, but like we said earlier too, I really don't think we would have gotten that Miller again. No. With this current regime. Pedersen also said too, like, you know, that we lost a great guy in JT Miller, a big power forward and stuff, and he said that he wants that pressure. He wants that pressure to be the number one here. So it's encouraging to hear that, like, he still wants to be that guy, even though he's struggling a bit. Mm-hmm. All you could hope for is he regains his form, and, you know, maybe even when the offseason hits, he has a little bit more break to kind of figure it out, and, you know, put on some muscle a bit, or some pounds a bit more. I think he needs to be a bit heavier. I was saying to Tyson last night, you know, Hoaglander's obviously like a stalker guy. He's like I think he's like my height or something, like 5'9", 5'8". But he's a fridge. Like, he's an absolute. He's just a square, man. And I would love
strong on his skates
and strong on his exactly. And Pedersen's always had that elusiveness to him, and I always thought, like, him falling on his skates was like how he draws penalties, like last night against Makar. But it would be nice if Pedersen put on a bit more, just so you could actually see him like Datsuk and Yager and the Sedins, man. Like, when those guys had the pucks on the wall, they're never falling, even if they were getting hit. You know, just strong, and that's what we need from him going forward.
I agree.
That being said, like, Canucks they're definitely not done. Like you're saying with Besser, like, it'll be really interesting what they do. They haven't been close on contract deals and stuff, so, which is a little concerning in my opinion. Because that either means a trade is going to have to happen, or we lose him for nothing. Yeah. Or if we make playoffs, he's just a rental for us and they don't get it signed. But I hope, because he's our longest tenured Canuck. I do think Besser just needs to play with the right speedy line mates to be a contributor on this team. I think he deserves to stay here, and he's been vocal on wanting to stay here. And with everything that's happened in the last, like, you know, few days with this team, if you got a guy that wants to stay here and play his years out and is happy to play in Vancouver, I think you keep that guy. Yeah.
I don't know. Verdict's still out for me. I'm going to have to see another week or so, see how it goes.
Fair enough, man. Do you got anything else to say here? Ovi, quickly, this is just a little Capitals thing here. Ovechkin's 17 goals away now from Gretzky's record.
Do you think he does it this year?
I really think he does, man. Man, he's racking up the empty net goals. He is. Oh my word.
You love it. I'm okay with it, honestly.
Gretzky has a bunch of empty net goals too, so it's all right. But it just cracks me up. Every goal I see of his, it's like it's never beaten a goalie. He's out there in garbage time, going after the record.
Dude, you know damn well if it was like 4 years ago, Ovi's not going to be out there when they're down or when they're up a goal trying to defend.
Oh yeah.
You know it.
Oh, I just watched. I think it was Bruff. He tweeted when we played the Capitals there. It's like, this is the greatest goal scorer of this sport. And it's just a 2-minute video just on Ovechkin. He's hardly skating out there, man. He goes in his spot. He goes back. It's like a 2-minute shift, but he's just coasting. It's so funny.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, but is there any other thing you'd like to add on the Canucks here, or any more news?
I think we're good. I think we're good.
Hell yeah. Well, to finish off the week here, the Vancouver Canucks play the San Jose Sharks in San Jose on Thursday, and then we play the Toronto Maple Leafs, which is always a good game. Hopefully Quinn Hughes is back on that one. He might not even play Four Nations with the way this is going, actually. But
I saw that.
more rest for Hughes. Unfortunate for Four Nations if that's the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can follow What the Nuck on Instagram, X or Twitter, and Blue Sky at What the Nuck Pod, and our YouTube channel and TikTok at What the Nuck. This has been the What the Nuck podcast with Dryden and Brabby. Have a great weekend, and we will talk to you guys soon.